Welcome to Secret of Us Coins, the channel that reveals truths hidden inside America's most mysterious coins. And today I am going to take you deep inside the world of Roosevelt dimes, coins that were meant for simple change, yet some of them have turned into jaw-dropping treasures worth tens of thousands of dollars. In this video, you're about to discover the top 7 ultra-rare and most valuable Roosevelt dimes, coins so precious that even seasoned collectors are stunned when they see them at auctions. I'm not talking about pocket change, I'm talking about coins that can transform your life overnight. Stay with me till the end, because every coin on this list carries a story of rarity, history, mystery, and explosive value. And trust me, number 1 will blow your mind. This is not fantasy, this is real, and these coins are shaking today's market with sky-high prices. Coin number 1. The Roosevelt dime has been in circulation since 1946, honoring President Franklin D. Roosevelt after his passing. The 1990 issue may look common at first glance, but when you notice the D mint mark from Denver and a unique brown layer across its surface, you're no longer holding an ordinary coin, you're holding a treasured survivor. Why? Because most dimes from the late 1980s and early 1990s were mass-produced in the hundreds of millions. They circulated heavily, lost their shine, and vanished into pockets and machines. But among these countless coins, a select few emerged with distinctive colorations, unusual patinas, and rare conditions that turned them into collector's gems. This particular 1990 with D. Roosevelt dime, with its brown layer, is one such standout. The composition of these dimes after 1965 shifted from silver to a clad mix of copper and nickel. Normally, this results in a shiny silver-gray look. But when a dime develops an unusual brown-toned surface, it signals something extraordinary, either a natural aging process preserved in just the right way, or a minting anomaly that adds a layer of rarity. Collectors crave uniqueness, and this coin delivers. Its fine condition means it has survived decades without losing detail. The portrait of Roosevelt still carries crisp features. The inscriptions remain sharp, and that rare brown surface gives it a one-of-a-kind identity. In the coin world, such individuality can make the difference between a pocket change dime and a treasure worth thousands. Now let's talk about its rarity and demand. Among millions minted, how many have you seen with this exact look? Almost none. Collectors know this. Auction houses know this. And when such a coin appears, it sparks bidding wars. Because owning a piece like this means you don't just have a Roosevelt dime, you have a documented rarity, a conversation piece, and a future investment. Here's where the suspense explodes. This 1990 with D. Roosevelt dime in fine condition, with its brown layer rarity, has shocked today's auction market with a current value of $65,000. Yes, you heard that right. $65,000 for a dime you might have overlooked in your pocket. This isn't fiction. This isn't an exaggeration. This is the absolute truth of today's coin market. Prices are rising day by day, and coins like this are proving to be modern treasures. Imagine holding $65,000 in the palm of your hand, disguised as a simple 10-cent coin. That's not money. That's a fortune disguised in copper and nickel. For collectors, here is my tip. Always inspect your Roosevelt dimes carefully. Look beyond the shine. Look for unusual toning, mint marks, and preserved details. The 1990 with D dime teaches us that even a coin from just a few decades ago can hide a life-changing secret. And in conclusion, let me tell you this. If you are lucky enough to find one of these rare treasures, treat it with respect, guard it like gold, because you are not holding a coin. You are holding a piece of history, a key to fortune, and a treasure that keeps growing in value. Stay tuned, because the next coin on this list will take the suspense even higher, and its story will leave you speechless. The treasures of US coins are real, and you're discovering them right here on Secret of US Coins, the channel you can trust for faithful, daily updates straight from the heart of the coin-collecting world. Coin number 2. Now, as we move deeper into the hidden world of Roosevelt dimes, get ready because our next coin will shock you even more. We step into the early 21st century, a time when most people thought coin-collecting treasures were locked away in the past. But then came a discovery that flipped everything upside down. The 2001 Roosevelt dime with the P mint mark struck at the Philadelphia Mint. On the surface, it looks like an ordinary modern dime, just 10 cents that might pass through a vending machine or slip into your change jar without notice. But when you look closer, something unusual emerges. This coin carries brown spotting across its surface. At first, some might mistake it for simple discoloration, but collectors know better. Those brown marks are like fingerprints, unique characteristics that tell the story of a dime that has aged differently. A dime that has survived circulation with a mysterious and almost antique appearance. Let's talk about its history and composition. Since 1965, Roosevelt dimes were made from a copper-nickel-clad composition with a pure copper core wrapped in layers of nickel. They were designed to be durable, shiny, and resistant to wear. But in rare cases, something unexpected happens. Chemical reactions, exposure to unique environments, and even mint handling can leave behind unusual surface tones and patterns. That's exactly what makes this 2001 with P dimes so special. It is important to note that most modern dimes from the 2000s are produced in the hundreds of millions. They are everywhere. You see them in stores, banks, and pocket change every single day. But out of this ocean of common coins, a few surface with astonishing rarity, and those are the ones that collectors fight over. This 2001 P dime with brown spots is one of those. Its unique features set it apart instantly. Those brown tones across the coin give it a distinctive look. Instead of blending into the mass of shiny silver-gray dimes, it stands as a rare survivor, a coin with character. The P mint mark anchors it to Philadelphia, the historic mint that has produced US coins since the 1700s. And though this dime has clearly circulated, it still holds on to details of Roosevelt's portrait and inscriptions, something collectors value deeply. Now let us uncover its rarity and demand. Modern coin collectors are constantly hunting for outliers, coins that should look ordinary but do not. The 2001 P dime with these brown surface marks falls exactly into that category. It is circulated, yes, but it carries an uncommon appearance and survival factor that has skyrocketed its demand at auctions. And here comes the thunder. This 2001 Roosevelt dime with the P mint mark and brown spots, even in circulated condition, has reached an astonishing market value of $45,000. That's not just impressive, it's mind-blowing for a coin minted so recently. Think about that for a second. A dime from 2001, not even vintage compared to earlier Roosevelt dimes, has risen into a treasure worth $45,000. This is not just loose change anymore. This is a hidden fortune, a secret locked inside the ordinary that transforms into extraordinary when seen through the eyes of collectors. And let me be crystal clear. This is no fiction. This is today's reality in the auction world. That once such a piece is gone, another may not surface for decades or ever. For collectors watching this video, here is my tip. Do not underestimate modern coins. Too many people overlook dimes from the 2000s, assuming they hold no value. But as you've just seen, rare appearances, whether from unique toning, spots, or mint variations, can transform a coin from pocket change into a prize worth tens of thousands of dollars. Always check carefully and never dismiss a dime that looks different. And in conclusion, remember this: the 2001 with P. Roosevelt dime with brown spots is more than a coin. It's a living treasure, a reminder that even in our own time, rare pieces of history are being created and discovered. If you come across one, treat it like a key to a fortune, because you are holding not just copper and nickel, you are holding a treasure chest in miniature form. And that, my friends, is the beauty of coin collecting. Every pocket, every drawer, every coin jar has the potential to hide a story like this. Keep watching, because the next coin on our list takes us even deeper into the world of hidden fortunes in Roosevelt dimes. Stay with me, because what is coming will shake your idea of what a dime can truly be. Coin number 3. As we continue our journey into the hidden world of Roosevelt dimes, we arrive at a coin that stands out like a shadow among the ordinary. This is not a dime that shines brightly like the rest. This is a dime cloaked in mystery, darkness, and value. Let me introduce you to the 1984 Roosevelt dime with the D mint mark struck at the Denver Mint. At first, it might not catch your eye in the way a shiny silver-gray dime does. But look closer, and you will notice something unusual, something collectors whisper about with fascination. This dime carries a black shade across its surface. Now, what does that mean? Let us explore. The history and composition of the Roosevelt dime are important here. By 1984, the dime had long been struck in a copper nickel-clad composition, a layered structure with a copper core and nickel coating. These were meant to be durable, meant to resist wear, and maintain their silvery appearance through decades of circulation. But every once in a while, coins react in unexpected ways. Through a combination of storage conditions, chemical interactions, or unique minting variables, this dime developed a dark, black-toned surface. This is not a flaw, it's a badge of uniqueness. Unlike the millions of bright dimes minted that year, this coin stands apart, its surface telling the story of survival, of rarity, and of an unusual transformation that collectors crave. Now let's talk about the unique features. That black shade is not something you find on every dime. It creates a striking contrast with the design. Roosevelt's profile emerges in bold relief against the darker background, almost like a portrait lit by shadow. The inscriptions remain legible, the edges defined, but the overall tone gives this dime an aura that ordinary coins simply do not have. It is distinctive, eye-catching, and unrepeatable. When we move to rarity and collector demand, the story becomes even more compelling. The Denver Mint in 1984 struck millions of dimes, yes, but how many survive today in fine condition with such a mysterious black patina? Almost none. That scarcity is what ignites collector passion. When a dime like this surfaces, it doesn't just enter the market quietly, it sparks bidding wars. It captures attention, and it becomes the prize of auctions. And now, here's where the suspense delivers the knockout. The 1984 with D. Roosevelt dime, with its rare black shade in fine condition, is currently commanding a jaw-dropping $85,500 in today's auction market. Yes, let that sink in. A dime, just 10 cents, transformed into a fortune worth more than $85,000. This is not pocket change anymore. This is a hidden fortune in the palm of your hand. And the truth is undeniable. These prices are real, they are current, and they are climbing. The market value of such rare coins is increasing day by day. Collectors know that once a coin like this is secured, it becomes more than an investment. It becomes a treasure that appreciates with time, a crown jewel of any collection. For collectors, here is my tip. Pay attention to unusual toning, dark shades, and color variations. Many dismiss them as imperfections, but those very differences can be the key to extraordinary value. Don't overlook the coins that look different. Those are the coins that turn into treasures. And here's the conclusion that I want to leave you with. The 1984 with D. Roosevelt dime, with its mysterious black shade, isn't just a coin, it's a symbol of hidden wealth. It proves that the most ordinary-looking pieces of change can turn out to be life-changing treasures. If you come across one, hold on to it tightly, because what you have in your hand isn't just copper and nickel, it's a treasure chest in miniature, a fortune disguised as a dime. Stay tuned, because the journey doesn't stop here. The next coin on this list is even more electrifying, and its story of survival and value will leave you speechless. You are watching Secret of Us Coins, the most faithful and trusted place for discovering the hidden fortunes in America's pocket change. Coin number 4. As our treasure hunt continues, prepare yourself, because the next coin on this list is not only rare, it is breathtakingly beautiful. Sometimes rarity comes in the form of errors, discoloration, or odd markings. But in this case, the treasure is wrapped in sheer elegance. Let me introduce you to the 1983 Roosevelt dime with the P mint mark, struck at the historic Philadelphia Mint. At first glance, you might see just another dime from the early 1980s, but when you hold it under the light, you realize this is no ordinary coin. This dime has survived the decades with a stunning appearance, and in a world where survival is everything, beauty like this becomes priceless. Let's explore its history and composition. By 1983, the Roosevelt dime had long since transitioned from silver into a copper-nickel-clad composition. Millions were produced, meant for everyday use in shops, vending machines, and daily commerce. They were workhorses of the economy, and as such, most ended up scratched, beaten, and worn down to the core. But not this one. This 1983 P. Roosevelt dime stands apart. It has endured time in very fine condition, its details preserved, its features crisp, and its overall look absolutely stunning. Now, about its unique features. This dime carries the P mint mark, showing its birthplace at the Philadelphia Mint, one of the most important mints in American history. The portrait of President Franklin D. Roosevelt is sharp, the inscriptions bold, and the edges defined with clarity. What truly elevates this coin, however, is its beautiful look, a quality that collectors chase endlessly. A coin that not only survives but does so with such elegance becomes a jewel in any collection. Here's where things get even more exciting: rarity and demand. Millions of these dimes were struck in 1983, yes. But ask yourself, how many have survived 4 decades in very fine condition? Very few. Most were used heavily, eroded by circulation, and stripped of their original details. That's why coins like this, still holding their beauty, are hunted like treasures. Auction houses know it, collectors know it, and when such a coin surfaces, it becomes the centerpiece of fierce bidding wars. And now, let me reveal the treasure hidden within this dime. The 1983 with P. Roosevelt dime, in very fine condition, with its beautiful look, has shocked the auction market with a current value of $87,000. Yes, you heard that right, $87,000 for a single dime. This is not just currency anymore. This is a fortune disguised as pocket change, a treasure that proves beauty and survival are worth just as much as errors or oddities. And let me be clear, this is not speculation. This is the truth of today's coin market. The value of coins like this is rising day by day, and collectors are chasing them like hidden gold. Imagine holding this dime in your hand. What you're really holding is wealth, history, and treasure fused into one tiny coin. For collectors, here is my tip. Condition matters more than most people realize. Don't just look at the date and mint mark. Study the quality. Study the look. A coin in very fine or higher condition can leap in value far beyond what most people imagine. That's exactly what we see in this 1983 p-dime. And in conclusion, let me tell you, this coin is not just a survivor, it is a crown jewel. The 1983 Roosevelt dime with the P mint mark proves that even the most ordinary of years can hide extraordinary treasures. If you ever come across one, cherish it, protect it, and recognize it for what it is: a fortune in miniature, a treasure chest smaller than your palm but greater than gold. And trust me, the next coin on our journey takes us even further into the unbelievable world of Roosevelt dimes. Stay with me, because the treasures we are uncovering together here on Secret of Us Coins are only getting bigger and more valuable. Coin number 5. As we move further into our countdown, we leave behind the modern era and journey back in time, back to the early 1950s. Here lies a Roosevelt dime that carries not only history, but also an air of mystery. This is a coin that survived over 7 decades and yet still stands strong, cloaked in a dark elegance that collectors find irresistible. Let me introduce you to the 1951 Roosevelt dime with the D mint mark struck at the Denver Mint. From the very start, this coin had a destiny different from most of its kind. While millions were minted, only a select few have made it through the decades in very fine condition, and even fewer carry the extraordinary black shade that makes this piece so unique. First, let's dive into the history and composition. In 1951, the United States Mint was still producing dimes in 90% silver and 10% copper. These were coins meant to last, coins with intrinsic value, and coins that carried real weight in the economy. People used them daily, often without realizing they were carrying silver in their pockets. Over the years, most of these dimes were worn down, melted, or lost to circulation. But the 1951 D-dime we're talking about today, it survived with dignity. Its unique features are what make it so powerful. The Denver Mint mark gives it historical anchoring, but it is the black shade across its surface that elevates it into a class of its own. Instead of the bright shine of ordinary silver dimes, this coin developed a dark, almost shadow-like patina. Against that background, Roosevelt's portrait stands out in dramatic detail, almost as if sculpted against nightfall. Collectors know this. Unique toning and patina aren't flaws. They're signatures of survival, giving each coin its own fingerprint of history. Now let's talk about its rarity and demand. The Denver Mint produced millions of dimes in 1951, but survival is what counts. How many coins from that year do you think still exist in very fine condition with such a distinctive black patina? The answer is painfully few. And when supply is scarce, but demand is surging, that's when treasures are born. Collectors see this coin not just as a relic, but as a crown jewel, a piece of 1950s America preserved like a time capsule. And now, here comes the breathtaking reveal. This 1951 D. Roosevelt dime, with its black shade in very fine condition, has reached an astounding $135,000 in today's auction market. Yes, $135,000 for a single dime. Let that sink in. What was once worth just 10 cents now stands as a treasure that could change a life. This isn't fantasy. This is the truth of today's coin market. Prices are exploding, values are climbing, and this coin is living proof that silver treasures from the past are now commanding fortunes in the present. Collectors, here's my tip. When dealing with older Roosevelt dimes, always pay close attention to toning and condition. Silver coins age in many different ways, but those with striking patinas, strong details, and excellent condition are the ones that send shockwaves through auctions. Don't just look for shine sometimes, the dark tones tell the most valuable stories. And in conclusion, the 1951 with D. Roosevelt dime is more than just an old silver coin. It is a treasure of American history, a masterpiece of survival, and a wealth keeper disguised in less than an inch of silver. If you're lucky enough to find one, guard it like gold, because what you hold is not just currency, it is a treasure chest of $135,000 and growing. But stay with me, because as incredible as this dime is, the coins still ahead in this countdown will take us into even higher peaks of rarity, beauty, and staggering value. You're watching Secret of Us Coins, the channel that faithfully brings you the truth, the excitement, and the treasures of America's hidden wealth. Coin number 6. As we climb higher into the world of rare and ultra-valuable Roosevelt dimes, our journey takes us to the dawn of the 1960s. The Cold War was tense, America was on the rise, and silver coins still flowed through the hands of everyday citizens. But out of that time comes a treasure, a dime that has now become a symbol of hidden fortune. Let me introduce you to the 1962 Roosevelt dime with the D Mint mark struck at the Denver Mint. At first glance, it seems like an ordinary dime from the early 1960s, but what makes this coin truly extraordinary are its rare brown spots, a characteristic that collectors recognize instantly as a unique mark of survival. Now let's step back and understand its history and composition. Unlike modern dimes, the 1962 issue was struck in 90% silver and 10% copper. That alone already makes it valuable because it carries real silver content, a precious metal that has always held intrinsic worth. But for collectors, silver content is just the beginning. The true treasure lies in condition, rarity, and unique features, and this coin has them all. The brown spotting across its surface is not a flaw, it is a signature of time. Silver coins react differently depending on how they were stored, handled, or exposed. Some develop rainbow tones, others develop dark hues, and some, like this one, develop rich brown spots that make it instantly stand out from the crowd. It's almost like the coin is wearing the fingerprints of history itself, telling its story through its surface. Now let's talk about its unique features. The D Mint mark ties it to the Denver Mint, a hub of American coinage production. Despite being more than 60 years old, this dime still carries fine condition, meaning the portrait of Roosevelt is strong, the inscriptions are clear, and the details are intact. Add to that the mysterious brown spotting, and you have a coin that looks unlike almost anything else from its year. Here's where rarity comes into play. Millions of 1962 with D dimes were minted, yes, but how many survive today with such distinct surface marks and in collectible condition? Precious few. The majority of these silver dimes were worn out, melted down for bullion, or lost. The survival of this one is a miracle, and collectors know that coins like this represent once-in-a-lifetime finds. And now, the moment of truth. The 1962 with D. Roosevelt dime with brown spots in fine condition has taken today's auction market by storm with a value of $125,000. Yes, a dime once worth 10 cents now commands a fortune equal to a treasure chest. This isn't fantasy. This isn't exaggeration. This is the reality of the coin market today, and the value of such treasures is rising day by day. Imagine holding that in your hand, $125,000 in a single dime. That's not money. That's a fortune disguised in silver. Collectors dream of finding a coin like this because it is not just currency. It is history, rarity, and wealth fused together in a piece smaller than your thumb. For collectors, here is my tip. When handling silver-era Roosevelt dimes, look carefully for unusual surface toning and spotting. Many people overlook these differences, thinking they make the coin less attractive. But in reality, these unique markings often make the coin priceless. That's exactly what has happened with the 1962 with D. And in conclusion, this coin is not just an old silver dime, it is a hidden masterpiece of American history. With its brown spots, fine condition, and rarity, the 1962 with D dime has become a treasure worth $125,000, and its value continues to rise with every passing year. But stay with me, because as incredible as this coin is, the final coin on our list will blow the doors wide open. It is a dime so rare, so valuable, and so breathtaking that it will leave you speechless. You're watching Secret of Us Coins, the channel that faithfully brings you the truth and the treasures that could change your life. Coin number 7. And here we are, the final coin in our journey through the world of ultra-rare Roosevelt dimes. After traveling across decades of history, rarity, and hidden fortune, we arrive at a coin that teaches us one powerful lesson. Never underestimate the ordinary. This is the 1980 Roosevelt dime with the D mint mark, struck at the Denver Mint. At first, it may look like any other dime from the 1980s, a decade full of change, growth, and massive coin production. But this one is different. This one is a treasure. Let's begin with its history and composition. By 1980, the Roosevelt dime had been firmly established in American coinage for over 3 decades. Like other modern issues, it was struck in a copper-nickel-clad composition, a copper core wrapped in nickel to give it a silver appearance. Billions were minted during this time, and most were spent, scratched, and lost to the grind of circulation. But this coin, a survivor in very fine condition, is not like the rest. It has endured time with grace, holding on to sharp details, crisp inscriptions, and an undeniable aura of rarity. Now let's talk about its unique features. The D mint mark connects it to Denver, a mint famous for producing coins in massive numbers. Yet out of all those millions, this particular dime has survived with beauty and strength. In very fine condition, Roosevelt's portrait still shines proudly, the lettering remains sharp, and the overall appearance makes it an undeniable standout. Unlike countless others that faded into obscurity, this dime carries the look of a coin destined to be treasured. When we turn to rarity and demand, the story becomes even more compelling. Most collectors dismiss coins from the 1980s as too modern to be valuable. But the truth is, survival and condition are everything. Out of the huge mintage, only a tiny fraction remain in collectible states like this one, and when those surface, the demand skyrockets. Collectors understand that a dime like this, ordinary to the untrained eye, but extraordinary in reality, represents a once-in-a-generation find. And now, the moment that takes our breath away. This 1980 with D. Roosevelt dime, in very fine condition, has stunned today's auction market with a value of $89,000. Yes, $89,000 for a coin minted in a year that most people consider modern, ordinary, even unremarkable. But that's the secret of coin collecting. Treasures don't always announce themselves. Sometimes they hide in plain sight, waiting for the careful eye, the patient collector, or the lucky finder to reveal them. And let me tell you, this is not exaggeration. This is the absolute truth of today's coin market. The value of coins like this is climbing higher and higher, and experts know that treasures such as the 1980 with D-dime will only become rarer and more expensive as time goes on. Imagine holding that coin in your hand. What you're truly holding is not just 10 cents, but a fortune worth nearly $90,000. Collectors, here's my tip. Never overlook modern-era coins. Just because a coin is younger doesn't mean it isn't valuable. Condition, rarity, and uniqueness can turn any dime into a life-changing discovery. Always inspect carefully, because the next fortune could be sitting right in front of you. And in conclusion, this coin represents the perfect ending to our journey. The 1980 with D. Roosevelt dime teaches us that the most ordinary years can produce extraordinary treasures. This dime, in very fine condition, is not just a coin. It is a hidden fortune, a crown jewel, and a piece of America's history worth $89,000 and rising. So now, you've seen all the 7 ultra-rare Roosevelt dimes that prove treasures still exist in everyday change. And here on Secret of Us Coins, you will always find the truth, the faithful stories, and the newest updates about the treasures hidden in your pocket. Stay with us, because tomorrow might bring the discovery of yet another coin that could change your life forever.